Hello Internet users, this is Chillafox. Welcome back to another episode. In the last chapter, we discussed why Wukong is named Wukong and the Monkey King's naughty and joyful nature. The Monkey King has now been given the name Wukong and practiced under Master Subudi. So, Master Subudi ordered the congregation to lead Sun Wukong outdoors and teach him how to sprinkle water on the ground and dust, and how to speak and move with proper courtesy. He discussed the Taoist scripture and the doctrines with his fellow students. He practiced calligraphy and burned incense. Such was his daily routine. In more leisurely moments, he would be sweeping the grounds or hoeing the garden, planting flowers or pruning trees, gathering firewood or lighting fires, fetching water or carrying drinks. He did not lack for whatever he needed, and thus he lived in the cave without realizing that 6 or 7 years had slipped by. One day, Master Subudi called together all the immortals and began to lecture on a great doctrine. Wukong, who was standing there and listening, was so pleased with the talk that he could not refrain from dancing on all fours. So Master Subudi saw this and called out to him, "Why are you madly jumping and dancing in the ranks and not listening to my lecture?" Wukong said, "Your pupil was devoutly listening to the lecture, but when I heard such wonderful things from my reverend master, I couldn't contain myself for joy and started to leap and prance about quite unconsciously. May the master forgive my sins." "Let me ask you," said Master Subudi, "if you comprehend these wonderful things, do you know how long you have been in this cave?" Wukong said, "I only remember that whenever the fire burned out in the stove, I would go to the back of the mountain to gather firewood. Finding a mountain full of fine peach trees there, I have eaten my fill of peaches 7 times. Master Subudi said, "That mountain is named the Ripe Peach Mountain. If you have eaten your fill 7 times, I suppose it must be 7 years. Then let me ask you, what kind of Taoist art would you like to learn from me?" Wukong said, "I'm dependent on the admonition of my honored teacher. Your pupil would gladly learn whatever a smidgen of Taoist flavor." "I see. Within the tradition of Tao, there are 360 categories, all the practice of which may result in illumination. Which path do you want to learn?" "I am dependent on the will of my honored teacher." "Okay, then how about the practice of Shu, the method class?" "It's kinda like the combination of a warlock and artificer, where you will learn how to summon immortal sidekicks to fight for you, and how to create the planchettes, which are sheets of paper or wood, inscribed with a special magical seal. So, you pretty much create some magical item, which you are able to infuse a spell inside and cast it later when you need it. If you have watched Naruto before, you will probably remember something called the Kibakufuda, or paper bomb, which belongs to the Taoist method class. On the other hand, since you can create magical items, you will also learn the method of divination, since you are probably able to create your own tarot card, because a paper that can trigger spells and a card that can tell you the future is pretty much the same thing. So overall, you will be able to pursue fortune and avoid evil." "Can this sort of practice lead to immortality?" No. "I won't learn it then," Wukong said. "Okay, then how about the practice of the Liu, the flow class? It means to flow with your heart. And the flow class includes the Confucius, the Buddhist, and the Taoist. They read scriptures or recite prayers. Faith is their power and guides them towards a path of saints. Can this sort of practice lead to immortality? If immortality is what you desire, this practice is like setting a pillar inside a wall." "What's setting a pillar inside a wall?" When people build houses and want them to be sturdy, they place a pillar as a prop inside the wall. But if the big mansion decays someday, the pillar must rot before then. Let me pause for a second, as we are now talking about some definitions of Taoist immorality. As you can see, the flow class are devout followers of religions or belief. In the Taoist idea, this is like setting up emotional and spiritual support that is the pillar of the building. So the flow class is pretty much the paladin. Their power comes as much from a commitment to justice or religion itself as it does from a god. Taoists believe this is a path to achieve spiritual immortality, but if one is unable to accomplish this immortality, it must mean they have abandoned their faith or failed to uphold their oath, aka the pillar must rot before. What are you saying then? Wukong said. Is that it is not long-lasting. I'm not going to learn this. Okay, how would it be if I told you the practice of the Jing, the sanity class? Drawing nature like droids to cultivate fasting and abstinence, cuisine and inactivity, meditation and the art of cross-legged sitting, restraint of language, and a vegetarian diet. There are also practice of yoga, exercise standing or prostrate, and contemplation in solitary confinement. Can these activities bring about immortality? Yes, but they're no better than the unfired bricks on the kiln. Master indeed loves to beat about the bush. What do you mean by the unfired bricks on the kiln? The tiles and the bricks on the kiln may have been molded into shape, but if they have not been refined by fire and water, a heavy rain will one day make them crumble. This is similar to some common longevity practice, such as eating a healthy diet or exercising, which can increase one's lifespan and well-being. But this kind of practice requires perseverance, and changing some good habits can ruin your foundation. So this too lacks permanence, said Wukong. I don't want to learn it. Fine then. How will it be if I tell you the practice of the Dong? The action class has plenty of activities, such as gathering the yin to nourish the yang and carefully study of a magic energy called qi. There are also experiments with alchemical formulas, burning rashes and forging cauldrons. An alchemist monk is sure to be the best class in any adventure. But can such bring about long life? To obtain immortality from such activities is also like scooping the moon from the water. When the moon is high in the sky, its reflection is in the water, although it is visible therein. You cannot scoop it out or catch hold of it, for it is but an illusion. Just like many other religions, some of the Taoists bring the idea of achieving immortality through alchemy. The Western also have similar ideas, such as the Philosopher's Stone and the Elixir of Life. It is theoretical, but not achievable, for it is but an illusion. I won't learn that either, said Wukong. So, Master Subudi pulled out his commandments ruler and pointed at Wukong. What a mischievous monkey you are! You won't learn this and you won't learn that. Just what it is that you are waiting for. He hit Wukong 3 times on the head, then he folded his arms behind his back and walked away. For the Monkey King, in fact, had already solved secretly, as it were, the riddle in the pot. He reasoned that the master, by hitting him 3 times, was telling him to prepare himself for the 3rd watch, and by unfolding his arms behind his back, walking inside and closing the main doors, was telling him to enter by the back door so that he might receive instruction in secret. So, at 3 a.m. that night, Wukong sneaked into Master Subudi's bedroom from the back door. And Master Subudi was waiting for him, and terribly pleased, thinking to himself, "This fellow is indeed an offspring of heaven and earth. If not, how could he solve the riddle in my pot so readily?" There is no 6 years here, Wukong said, May the Master be exceedingly merciful and impart me to the way of long life. I shall never forget this gracious favor. Everyone, please pay close attention to the words Wukong used here. This is a huge flag for the story later on. 6 ear is a unique definition in ancient Chinese as it represents the third party. Since each of us has 2 pairs of ears, a secret conversation should only be between 2 people who have 4 ears together. So, there are no 6 ears, which just means there are no third party. But please remember this because as story progresses, we will come back to this idea one day eventually. So, Master Subudi teaches Wukong the oral formulas that practice biological immortality, and Wukong persisted in what he had learned secretly. 3 years went by swiftly, and Master Subudi came back to check Wukong's progress. What sort of art have you been practicing lately? Your pupil has begun to apprehend the nature of all things, and my foundational knowledge has become firmly established. If you have penetrated to the Dharma nature to apprehend the origin, you have, in fact, entered into the divine substance. You need, however, to guard against the danger of 3 calamities. If you watched episode 2, where we explained the system behind Yao Guai and human, we used an RPG system and talked about the goal of practice and the calamity system. If you have not seen it yet, I highly recommend clicking on the top right of the video to check it out. We stated that God of Destiny initially created calamities to punish the cheating Yao Guai player that kills human and plunders humans' EXP for a quick level up process, but end up becoming a universal punishment for any cheating player and a common trait during the level up for Yao Guai species. You see, creatures usually need to spend a lot of effort to reach level 100 to achieve biological immortality and eternal life. But somehow, Wukong is able to accomplish this at a low level, so he will get this punishment. What you have learned, said Master Subudi, is no ordinary magic. You have stolen the creative powers of heaven and earth and invaded dark mysteries of the sun and moon. Your success in perfecting the elixir is something that the god and the demon cannot countenance. Though your appearance will be preserved and your age lengthened, after 500 years, heaven will send down the calamity of thunder to strike you. Hence, you must be intelligent and wise enough to avoid it ahead of time. If you can escape it, your age will indeed equal that of heaven. If not, your life will thus be finished. After another 500 years, heaven will send down the calamity of fire to burn you. That fire is neither natural or common fire. Its name is the fire of yin, and it arises from within the sole of your feet to reach even the cavity of your heart, reducing your entrails to ashes and your limbs to utter ruin. After another 500 years, the calamity of mighty wind will be sent to blow at you. It enters from the top of the scroll and penetrates your body. The bones and the flesh will be dissolved, and the body itself will be disintegrated. You must, therefore, avoid all 3 calamities. So, Wukong was terrified and begged Master Subudi for a method to avoid the 3 calamities. Thus, Master Subudi taught him 72 transformations, and Wukong was able to prevent the calamities through shape-shifting. After a while, Master Subudi also taught him cloud flying, in which Wukong was able to travel 180,000 miles within 1 somersault. From then on, he had complete freedom, blissfully enjoying the state of his long life. But one day, the disciples were gathered under the pine trees for fellowship and discussion. One disciple asked Wukong to put on a performance to show off his shape-shifting abilities. And Wukong did it by transforming into a cool pine tree. While everyone was cheering and whistling, the chaos disturbed Master Subudi. "You are all yelling and screaming," said Master Subudi angrily, and were behaving in a manner totally unbecoming to those practicing cultivation. Go away, all of you, Master Subhuti said. You, Wukong, come over here. I ask you, what sort of exhibition were you putting on, changing into a pine tree? Do you now possess this ability just to show off to people? Suppose you saw someone with this ability, wouldn't you ask him at once how he acquired it? So when others see that you are in possession of it, they will come begging. If you are afraid to refuse them, you will give away the secret. If you don't, they might hurt you. You are actually placing your life in grave jeopardy. I beseech the master to forgive me. I won't condemn you, but you must leave this place. When Wukong heard this, tears fell from his eyes. Where am I going, teacher? He asked. From wherever you came, you should go back there. I've been away from my home for 20 years, and I certainly long to see my subjects and followers of ancient days again. But I keep thinking that my master's profound kindness to me has not yet been repaid. I, therefore, dare not leave. There is nothing to be repaid, said Master Subhuti. See that you don't get into trouble and involve me. That's all I ask. Seeing no other option, Wukong had to bow to his teacher and leave the congregation. Once you leave, the Master Subhuti said, you are bound to end up evil doing. I don't care what kind of villainy and violence you engage in, but I forbid you ever to mention that you are my disciple. For if you but utter half the word, I will know about it. You can be assured that you will be skinned alive. I will break all your bones and banish your soul to the place of ninefold darkness, from which you will not be released even after 10,000 afflictions. I will never dare mention my master, said Wukong. I say that I have learned this all by myself. Having thanked Master Subhuti, Wukong went back to the Flower Fruit Mountain, defeated the Yao Guai that occupied the Water Curtain Cave during his departure, and gathered his monkey followers to live a happy life. Chapter 2 ends. Wow, isn't that a little too harsh? Why is Master Subhuti so mean to Wukong, and why did he kick him out? Well, to fully understand this problem, we need to go back to the time when Master Subhuti pulled out his Commandments ruler. The Commandments ruler is one of the 8 Taoist relics. These 8 relics are like the Ark of the Covenant in the Bible, where the Taoist Bible, Dao Zang, also gives detailed instruction on how each of the 8 magical relics is to be constructed. The Dao Zang records the ruler is made of wood about 1.84 inches wide, about 0.53 inches thick, and about 39.32 inches long. The inscription on the ruler reads, without this ruler, the Dharma cannot work. Without this ruler, the etiquette will be incomplete. Without this ruler, virtue cannot be cultivated. Without this ruler, one would be shameless. Another important point is that Master Subhuti hit Wukong 3 times on the head. Wukong thought he fully understood the riddle, but he only solved the mystery and did not understand the original meaning. The number 3 has meaning beyond mathematics. In this case, the particular symbolism represents the 3 commandments. Confucius was the first to put forward the concept of the 3 commandments, stated that a gentleman should be vigilant about himself and not do things that may cause harm to himself. It means that a gentleman should be wary of lusting after women when he is young, should be alert of aggression when he is in middle age, and should beware of insatiable greed when he is old. Later, the Chinese philosopher Liu Zongyuan wrote 3 fables based on the definition of the 3 commandments, and redefined the commandments as ignorant, useless, and exploiting power. So now, let's look back at Master Subhuti's riddle. 3 hits on the head means you need to be aware of the commandments. Folding his arms behind his back Walking inside and closing the main doors represent being extra careful when using your power. Do not abuse it so you can go on the correct path, or I will shut the door. When Master Subudi saw him that night, he saw that Wukong was the chosen one, a stone monkey born from yin and yang, who didn't have the animal instinct but full of wisdom, and could fully understand his riddle. He was really happy to see Wukong apprehend the nature of all things and taught him all the abilities. But after he saw Wukong's show-off performance, he finally realized that he did not understand and would eventually go on a path to abuse the power. So he kicked him out and told him to never say his name again. On the other hand, in the Black Myth Wukong official release date trailer, which released on December 7th, 2023, we see an important scene related to this story. Let's take a look.
Their minds yearn to ascend, yet fame still holds sway. Their glory fades through time in tombs of somber gray. You too want to be an immortal? Such a destiny. Do you still want it?
Did you see the painting behind the creature? Wukong, Master Subudi, and even the Commandments ruler? Yes, this is a painting describing the scene where Master Subudi uses riddle to teach Wukong immortality. This captivating detail serves as a powerful reminder of the depths and complexity of the story we're about to dive into. It encapsulates a pivotal moment in the journey of Wukong, highlighting the blend of wisdom, discipline, and the pursuit of enlightenment that defines Taoist spirit. This painting is not just an artistic choice. It is a bridge connecting the game's rich narrative with the ancient lore that inspires it. It invites us as a player to look beyond the surface, to uncover the layers of meaning woven into the fabric of Black Myth Wukong's world. It reminds us that every element in the game, every scene, character, and artifact is meticulously crafted to enrich our experience and deepen our connection to this legendary tale. As we gear up for the release of Black Myth Wukong, let's keep our eyes open for more of these hidden gems. These echoes of ancient wisdom that makes the game not just a journey through a mythical world, but a voyage of discovery into the heart of a timeless epic. Thank you for joining me in this exploration of the Black Myth Wukong's universe. If you found this analysis intriguing and are as excited as I am to uncover more secrets within the game, make sure to hit the like button. Share this video with your friends and subscribe for more deep dives into the lore, gameplay, and mystery of Black Myth Wukong. I am Chillafox. Thanks for watching.